Well, I'm going to begin, Marc, just by asking if you could just tell me a little bit about your character and how he fits into the world of Safe.
I play a guy called Pete Mayfield, who is Tom's best friend in Safe. Tom's played by Michael C. Hall. And we are, well, the writers said that we're, the backstory is that we were in the army together, and now Michael's a surgeon, shit-hot surgeon, and I'm an anaesthetist, which is quite hard to say. But I think...
You're what, sorry?
An anaesthetist. But I think it's hard to say, but it'd be even harder to spell.
Yeah, that's our job. We have to write up the article.
Yeah.
So what was the initial attraction to getting involved in this project? What was it about this character or story, or was it even just the word Netflix? What was it that drew you in?
Well, obviously, working with Michael was a real big hook on this. But it was quite a bizarre way that this came about, because I was sent a couple of scripts which I read, and I was on the train and my agent messaged me and said, no, she called me and she said, they want to meet you on Monday for this job. And then the phone went dead because of the train. So, and I knew it was a Danny Brocklehurst script from a Harlan Coben story. So I emailed back and I said, look, I'll come in on Monday and I'll have the meeting with the guys and then see what happens. And as I said that, a guy came up to me on the train and stood in the middle aisle. And he said, can I speak to you? And I said, I'm just sending this email, mate. I'll just be 1 second. And so I sent it and I said to him, hello, how can I help you? And he said, I'm Danny Brocklehurst, the writer of Safe. I said, you're fucking kidding me. I've just sent an email about meeting you on Monday. So, and then an hour later, they offered me the job. So, it was a no-brainer, really.
Do you think he followed all of his actors around to try and get them to... Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way he works, apparently. But if it works for Danny, then, Danny, the train guy, train spotter. He's not a train spotter. He's a very cool guy.
And part of the joy in watching this, and it's the same with all of Harlan's work, really, is just this ability where you just don't know who to trust. You don't know what anyone is capable of, and that's part of the joy as an audience member of trying to put all the kind of pieces together. Is that similar for you when you're reading the screenplay? I think Hannah was saying she got the first kind of 3 episodes to begin with. I mean, were you even reading that thinking, I don't know what my own character's capable of? And that must be quite an exciting proposition for an actor to initially not even quite know where their own character ends up, or what their own character might end up doing or being part of.
I mean, I think, I don't even think you need to read any of the scripts. I think you could just do it scene by scene. I'd be interested to I have done that. I have done jobs where I haven't even read the scripts. And you're just literally reading what you're doing that day. Will it make any difference? I don't know. I mean, we don't know what we're going to be doing later, do we? You're just doing what you're doing right now, don't you? I mean, that's how life is, isn't it? We're in this scene right now, and that's, we haven't got a thing about what we're doing later on, do we? It's not going to affect that at all. So how much was I aware? I think I'd read the first 3, so I didn't really know where it was going. And I don't know that it would have made any difference, because you just have the lines on the page for that scene and you just do them as best you can, I guess if you do them as, try and be quite ambiguous with it, so you don't really know. You create a few doubts in the audience's mind. I suppose that works well.
I guess in some ways, what you're mentioning about sort of going scene by scene could actually be quite beneficial to actors, because you can only live in that moment, in the sense that say you're playing a character who people think, oh, they could be a killer, and then at the end in your head well, they're obviously not the killer, but if you yourself weren't to know, that would make it quite an exciting proposition for an actor, I guess.
I mean, I'm sure loads of productions have done that. I mean, without a doubt they have. Maybe we should write something like that. We'll just write a load of scenes, just get some actors and shoot it and see what happens. Sell it to Netflix.
And I mean, you've played some excellent characters in a variety of great TV series in your career. Is there one role you've got a kind of a closest affinity to, one that you feel, I don't know, the one that's the most special to you that you think you've played?
People often ask that, and it's funny because I'm not a lot. Okay, if I was, things that stand out. I mean, doing Mad Dogs was an incredible working experience because it was working with like 3 of my best pals in Cape Town and Mallorca. I did a Oliver Twist where I played monks. That kind of was a game changer for me. State of Play I had a fantastic part in that. I had a great coat. Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers was like I think the hardest job I did, in that it was like being a soldier for real. It was that was hard, really hard. But the final product was great. I really loved the job I did called Mutual Friends, but with Alexander Armstrong, but it wasn't picked up. I thought we might be doing that for a while, but we only ended up doing it for 1 year. So, but no, I don't tend to look back on them. I mean, they're on his show reel, so you get to see them occasionally. But no, but they're just ones that popped into my head then. So.
And you mentioned Band of Brothers. I mean, that felt like that was part of that small collective of series that really kick-started this current incredible TV sort of how incredible TV's become. I think Band of Brothers, Sopranos, and sort of The Wire, those series that started coming around roughly the same time. And I mean, across your career, have you noticed how incredible TV has risen and how remarkable it is these days? Is that something that you've been kind of paying attention to? Because you've been in the industry for sort of a number of years now and doing so much TV. Have you noticed just how huge and prominent it's now become? I mean, TV's bigger, and it's sort of a bit of a cliche, but they're saying it is kind of bigger now than it's ever been before.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think when you start out, certainly for me, you really want to get in films. You want to get in the movies and do all that kind of stuff. And although I've made quite a lot of films. Not many of them did good business, so it never really went that way for me. But now you've got a lot of people in films who want to be doing telly, so telly's just gone through the roof. And this whole Netflix, and the streaming and Amazon and has just taken it. Yeah, so and shows like, well, you said Sopranos, and I mean, I always loved Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I think the real Breaking Bad, it was just like, that was it. The die was cast, wasn't it? People just love. It's the crack cocaine of the contemporary crack cocaine that doesn't kill you.
And yeah, because I mean, another one was that people really used to love back then was sort of 6 Feet Under as well. So I mean, Michael is obviously one of the stars of that, and obviously Dexter too. I mean, he's another sort of such an esteemed TV actor. What was he like to collaborate with on so closely on this? I mean, you guys share so many scenes together.
Yeah, he was great. He was, considering he's done so much, and he was not at all precious. He was very approachable. He's obviously incredibly talented. He did a fantastic British accent, which is, that not an easy thing to come over and do that, and he absolutely pulled that off immediately. And we just had a great rapport, and it got stronger as the series went on. But we pretty much hit the ground running with that. We got on well from the off, and I think we met at a meal, and I was sitting opposite him, and you never know how it's going to go, but it went well. So
when they shouted cut, did he go back to his American accent? Did he maintain that English accent throughout? Because I mean, it's quite incredible. I actually had to go back and quickly check. He wasn't putting on an American accent in Dexter and 6 Feet Under, thinking maybe he was English all this time. It was that good.
I'll tell him that. No, I think he talked American when he was in between takes. Yeah, I think so.
And he did.
Yeah.
Did you mention, is it Mutual Friends you're saying before the TV that you did that didn't really take off. Was that the one you were just
Yeah.
saying? Yeah. Because how difficult is it to judge for actors? I mean, you make something that you can be so proud of, and that everyone you collaborated with is so proud of. But then, I guess you never really know which way it's going to go. I mean, there must have been times in your career you've been surprised both ways, where there's been times you've gone, yeah, that was all right, and it's just been fantastic, been so successful, and then obviously vice versa. So, I mean, when it comes to things like Safe, I mean, have you learned now through experience just to sort of just let go and just think what will be will be?
You said it. That's exactly it. Yeah, completely let go. Yeah, yeah. I don't. I do it, and then it's gone for me. I mean, I won't watch the show, and I do it the best I can, and that's it. That's my part in it. You can't tell. Something you think is going to be a winner, and it's gone. Something you think it was not that good, and people will love it. And it's like that with your own performances as well. You might think you've been amazing in something, and people are like, "What was all that about?" And something you thought, it's the opposite of that. So you can never tell. We see what we want to see, don't we? We're all seeing a different slant on the world, every single one of us.
And you mentioned that you won't watch this. I mean, is that always the case? Do you rarely watch?
No, it's become that. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see little clips of it. They showed us an assembly when we were filming, but yeah, it looked very good. Yeah.
As for your own kind of career, I mean, do you remember when you first wanted? I mean, was acting something you wanted to do from a really young age? And do you remember the moment when you realised that you could actually introduce yourself to somebody else as an actor, and it didn't feel like you were just kind of faking it? It was actually your job.
that's nobody's ever put it like that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, do I remember the exact moment? Where you go, I'm an actor. And you sort of believe it. I guess I said it to somebody. I think I started doing it as a job when I was 18, I think. So I've been doing it ever since then. But yeah, now I don't normally even say that. So, what would I? I'm in the acting business. I'd probably say that. I'm what?
I'm a creative.
Yeah.
And so if you could go back and have a beer or a coffee with any actor, director, actress, anyone or ever that you'd most like to kind of sit down and just have a chinwag with, who would you choose, would you say?
Probably Anthony Hopkins.
Have you ever had the chance to meet him before in this interview?
I met him once, very briefly. I always had I don't know if it was a dream or a thought. I always wondered whether I'd be on set with him one day, and they'd be setting up the lights, and there'd just be me and him waiting to do the scene, and there'd be a piano in the corner because he's a great pianist, and he'd just get on the piano and start talking to me. That never happened, but
still time.
Although bizarrely, I was in LA. I think I was doing Hustle at the time when we shot some of it out there, and I had to do some ADR, which is voice, replacement stuff. And I was in a studio doing it in Century City or something, and when I left, the driver said to me, "Did you see Tony?" And I went, and I thought I kind of heard what he said, and I went, "No," and then we went on, and I said to him, "Sorry, mate, when you said, did I see Tony, what was it you were referring to?" He said, Anthony Hopkins. He said he was in the next studio to you, putting down the music on the film he's just made. I said, "You're fucking kidding me." Because I would have gone in. Yeah, I like him. I like his work, obviously, but I like him. I like the man. I like kind of what he talks about when you see interviews and his take on things.
Because I remember he wrote I'm not sure if it was an open letter or if it was just a personal letter, but to Bryan Cranston. I don't know if you ever saw that, about how incredible the performance of Walter White was. Has there ever been a time where you've watched a series or a film and you've seen a performance so good that you would have felt tempted to write a letter to the person that performed it and just say, wow, you did a pretty great job there?
All the time. I think you see people all the time that they're just incredible. Yeah, I just think. And you don't necessarily see it when you're doing the job, you know, when you're there like one-on-one with somebody, but when you sit and watch it, you know, people have different relationships with the camera, you know, and when you're doing it, you might not even see it, but then when you look at it later, it's all going off, you know. I mean, like a really big name drop, but I did once do a film with Angelina Jolie, and I was doing a scene with her where I was looking at her like you're in front of me, and then I could see her on the monitor, and you know, in front was this, you know, very beautiful woman, and on the screen was like a superstar. It was incredible.
Because we were speaking to Emmett and Hannah about this as well, in the sense, but when you are acting opposite people that good, people that you would have admired across your career and stuff, I mean, do you think in the moment, wow, this is great that I'm here, I'm on their level, I'm acting with this person, we're dancing together in this scene, or is that something that only really comes afterwards? Is that kind of, are those things that you have to kind of wait for it all to the dust to have settled before going, God, that was pretty cool?
I think if you're working with somebody and you're a bit giddy about them because you know they're really good, you know, if I'm doing that, you know, you just got to keep your shit together, really be on top of the lines, because you'll probably be quite nervous when you get there to do it, and yeah, you just got to be on your game. But you know, we're all the same, aren't we? We just, you know, some of us have had bigger breaks, some of us have not. I mean, I should imagine I'd be a little bit tender on the toes if I was working with Hopkins, but I don't know. I think you just got to do what you've always done. You know, you don't have to do anything more or anything less. You do what you do and just do your best. That's it at the end of the day. Just do your best, because that's all you can do, isn't it? As long as you tried, you did your best, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't work, then okay. Because those people did their best, and it just might be that they were fortunate, because there's so many talented people who nobody will ever see. We're all, you know, we're all of an equal ability to a greater or lesser extent, you know. Just some people have got a look that works, or just fortunate, you know, they're in the right place. But I think we're all pretty much the same, really. So
what are you working on at the moment? What have you got coming up outside, other than Safe? Is there any other?
I'm working on a job at the minute with the actress Anna Paquin, and I've just finished doing an episode of Keith and Paddy's Picture Show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which was incredible. I did the Top Gun episode, and I played Iceman, Val Kilmer's Iceman. And Lee Francis, who is Keith Lemon, played Maverick, and Paddy McGuinness's Goose. Just incredible. Just amazing.
Just slightly different to Safe then, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing on that is just trying to do it without laughing, and also
did you succeed?
Sorry,
did you succeed?
Not really, no. But also seeing them, how funny they are, you realise immediately. Don't try and be funny. Do not try and be funny. Just do it straight, because you haven't got a chance.
And my final question is, I mean, we're obviously primarily a movie site. We're covering a hell of a lot of TV these days, because TV is just so excellent. But what is your favourite film of all time, if you can name one?
Badlands.
And why that one in particular?
It's when video players first came out, and my brother and I were sitting at home in the summer holidays, and my dad had recorded it, And we just woke up one morning and just said, oh, what's this? Put it on. It just blew my mind.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!